Today we are going to talk about the pharmacology of anti-anxiety drugs or anxiolytics. Now, anxiety, every one of us is aware of anxiety and stress. Now, we all know that anxiety and stress are essential for the human survival. Anxiety and stress, they allow us to pursue our goals and they make us respond appropriately to dangers. But too much anxiety results in anxiety disorder. And therefore, we can say that anxiety disorder occurs when anxiety becomes overwhelming and it starts affecting the quality of life. Anxiety is an emotional state of extreme worry and fear associated with defined or undefined future threats. Some of the emotional effects of anxiety are feeling of apprehension, difficulty in concentrating, irritability, restlessness, nightmares, that is the bad dreams, obsession with the sensations, etc. Cognitive effects of anxiety are thoughts about suspected dangers, for example, fear of dying. Then physiological effects of anxiety on the body are palpitation, tachycardia, shortness of breath, excessive perspiration, that is sweating, fatigue, tremors, headache, vertigo, abdominal pain, nausea, diarrhea, frequent urination, etc. Now, classification of anxiolytics. Anxiolytics can be broadly categorized into two categories. Those drugs that are used for the acute treatment of anxiety. They include benzodiazepines, for example, diazepam, chlordiazepoxide, oxazepam, lorazepam, alprazolam. And the drugs that are used for the chronic treatment of anxiety. Under this class, we have azapirons, for example, buspirone. Then we have gepirone, ispapiron. Then another very important category of drugs are the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, that is SSRIs, and serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors, that is SNRIs. For example, fluvoxamine, venlafaxine. Another category of drugs which are used for the chronic treatment of anxiety are the beta blockers. These drugs, they counteract the effects of anxiety on the cardiovascular system. Under the beta blockers, the drug that is used is the propranolol. Now, this slide discusses the pharmacology of benzodiazepines and how benzodiazepines are useful for the treatment of acute anxiety. Now, benzodiazepines bind to GABA A benzodiazepine receptor chloride channel complex. This is the diagram that shows GABA A benzodiazepine receptor chloride channel complex. Now, as it is shown in the diagram, this is a GABA A receptor. Now, this GABA A receptor, it is pentameric. It has 5 different subunits, 2 alpha, 2 beta and 1 gamma subunit. Now, this is the active site for the attachment of GABA. And this is the allosteric site for the attachment of benzodiazepine. This is the benzodiazepine receptor. Now, as soon as the GABA binds to its GABA A receptor, there is opening of the chloride channel. And because of the opening of the chloride channel, there is influx of chloride ions in the nerve cell. And since the chloride ions are negatively charged, because of the influx of chloride channels, there is development of negative potential within the nerve cell. Or there is development of hyperpolarization or inhibitory postsynaptic potential, and because of which there is fall in the neuronal activity, and this fall in the neuronal activity is responsible for the anxiolytic effect which is exhibited by the benzodiazepines. How? That we will see later. So, this is a GABA A receptor. It is an inotropic receptor. It is a ligand gated ion channel. The ligand is the GABA. It is a pentameric, since there are 5 subunits. It is a pentameric transmembrane chloride channel, and these subunits, they envelop the chloride channel. It is composed of 2 alpha 2, that is a 2 alpha, 2 beta and 1 gamma subunit. Now here one thing is to be noted over here is this, that the GABA A receptor exhibit different subtypes or different isoforms. Now those isoforms which possess the alpha 2 receptor, they exhibit or they mediate the anxiolytic effect. So those receptors which are composed of alpha 2 and alpha 3 subunits, they may those receptors mediate the anxiolytic effect, whereas those receptors which possess the alpha 1 subunit, they mediate the sedative and hypnotic effect. So GABA A receptor composed of 2 alpha 2, 2 beta, 1 gamma subunits, 2 alpha 2, so responsible for the anxiolytic effect. Alpha 1 GABA A receptor, those which are composed of alpha 1, they are responsible for the mediation of sedation and hypnosis. So alpha 2 and alpha 3 GABA A receptors, that is GABA A receptors which possess alpha 2 and alpha 3 subunits, they mediate the anxiolytic effect. Benzodiazepine, they bind to benzodiazepine receptors and they cause increase in the frequency of chloride channel opening. So frequency of chloride channel opening increases, there is more influx of chloride ions, there is more of hyperpolarization and there is more of inhibition of nerve cells. So these benzodiazepines, they enhance the GABA binding to GABA A receptors, they exhibit the GABA facilitatory action and they are very useful in the management of acute anxiety. They relieve anxiety at low doses without significant CNS depression. And the most important thing is their benzodiazepines are more selective for the limbic system. Now limbic system is a key area for the regulation of emotion and anxiety. The most important limbic structure is the amygdala, and amygdala fires very rapidly because of anxiety. Now because the benzodiazepine, they causes neuronal inhibition, they reduces the firing of this amygdala, and when there is reduced firing of amygdala, it results in anxiolytic effect. Effects of benzodiazepines are sedation, lightheadedness, psychomotor and cognitive impairment, increase in appetite, alterations in sexual functions. Now another category of drugs used for the chronic treatment of anxiety are the azapirons, for example buspirone. It is a partial agonistic action on 5-HT1A receptors. It is non-sedating. It is used for the chronic treatment of anxiety, relieves mild to moderate anxiety and shows minor side effects like dizziness, nausea, headache and lightheadedness. The very important category of drugs are the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, that is SSRIs, and serotonin and noradrenaline reuptake inhibitors, that is SNRIs. Now these drugs, what they do is this, that they increase the level of 5-HT at the synapse. Now by increasing the level of 5-HT at the synapse, they produce the anxiolytic effect. Now how they do, let's see to that. Now this is a serotonergic neuron. Now as soon as the action potential reaches a serotonergic neuron, there is depolarization and release of 5-HT. 5-HT binds to its receptors and produces the pharmacological action. Now after that, this 5-HT is taken up back by the serotonergic neuron by the serotonin transporter, that is the SERT. Now what these drugs SSRIs and SNRIs do is this, that they inhibit SERT. They inhibit the transportation of serotonin within the serotonergic neurons, and by inhibiting this transport, they increase the level of 5-HT at the synapse. And because of the increase in the level of 5-HT at the synapse, more amount of 5-HT is available for the neurons. Now here very important to note is this, that we are talking about the neurons of amygdala. Now amygdala is a region in the brain, and this amygdala, it is a key area for the regulation of emotions and anxiety. Another important thing is this, that this amygdala, it possesses the fear circuits. It possesses the fear circuits, and this amygdala, it fires very rapidly because of anxiety. So now this now fall in the level of 5-HT or low levels of serotonin are responsible for the rapid firing of amygdala and hence more anxiety. Now, if there is increase in the level of 5-HT, higher levels of serotonin, they are responsible for the reduced firing of amygdala. Reduced firing of amygdala calms the fear circuits, and when these fear circuits are calmed down, there is a reduction in anxiety, and thus these SSRIs and SNRIs, by increasing the availability of serotonin at the neurons which are found to be present in amygdala, it reduces the firing of amygdala, and by reducing the firing of amygdala, the fear circuits, they are calmed down, and because of that there is a reduction in anxiety and there is anxiolytic effect. So these SSRIs and SNRIs, they are very useful drugs for the treatment of anxiety. So these drugs, they inhibit SERT, they potentiate the action of 5-HT at the synapse of the neurons which are found to be present in amygdala. And this 5-HT, it inhibits the rapid firing of amygdala, it calms down the amygdala, and when there is calming down of amygdala, there is a reduction in anxiety and there is anxiolytic effect. This is a very important slide. It talks about the significance of selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors and serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors in anxiety. These are extensively used drugs in chronic anxiety disorders. They show gratifying or satisfactory response. A drug of choice for social anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, eating disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorders. These are also used as an adjuvant to benzodiazepines. Prominent side effects are nausea and diarrhea. Mild side effects are restlessness, nervousness, anorexia, headache. And the last category of drugs are the beta blockers. We have the drug propranolol. Now, anxiety causes sympathetic overactivity, and because of sympathetic overactivity, physiological symptoms are palpitation, rise in blood pressure, shaking, tremor, etc. Now, propranolol, it counteracts all these symptoms which are caused because of the sympathetic overactivity. So, propranolol is a symptomatic treatment of cardiovascular effects of anxiety. It can be used as an adjuvant to benzodiazepine, and these beta blockers, they have limited usefulness since they are counteracting the cardiovascular effects of anxiety. So this is all about the pharmacology of anxiolytics. Thanks for watching the video.